but I see that Pat Holmes Sr. has joined the conversation. So we're going to bring in Pat right now to talk about his return to boxing. How you doing tonight, Pat?
Oh, absolutely great, Michael. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you taking some time outside of training the guys to jump in with us. The return recently, the first event that you threw at the OK Casino. Tell us about it, how you felt about the night, and how you felt about returning to the stress of promoting and matchmaking an event.
Well, so many different emotions, but very, very excited, and I couldn't have been more happy. I really couldn't. I mean, just everything, the whole chemistry with the attendance, who showed up, what kind of fights we had, the venue, the property. It just came together. It was a perfect recipe.
What is it like starting that new relationship? Because you've done that before. You've worked with different venues and went into what at this like one appears to be a long-term relationship. So what is that like trying to get that relationship off on the right foot? And how important is that first event?
Oh, listen, it's everything. It's everything because you need people on the same page with you. You need workers, hustlers, and in this business, you've been doing this a long time, and you've covered not only my shows but a ton of shows for a long time. And you see them come together, and the way they come together is everybody's on board in the hustle mode. You're taking calls. It doesn't matter if it's 11 o'clock at night or whatever it is. Things need to get done. So working with the casino and the staff there now and that property at OK and Say Corporation, TSAY, Say, with them and what they're trying to do with that property, the camaraderie is definitely there. And so when you have that, there's excitement, and we picked up some momentum from the last fight in November there.
Not to mention, when you talk about excitement, you look back at the winners from that last card, Eduardo Pena, Jorge Villarreal. You could tell me the other ones, but there are some young, talented guys that I think we could really get excited about that made their debuts on those cards.
No doubt, no doubt. And then the thing about it is we need that. We need the new crop to come up. We've had look, Liana's fought on cards of Buffalo. So we have the veterans with the new, and I don't want to say old because it never gets old because apparently she's still selling a ton of tickets. But you add that in, and that crop has to carry at some point. So you have to have these other fighters that can help them to sustain before you have and Eduardo at some point that's going to main event, and absolutely the main event for Jorge Villarreal with his style, his background, and this backing with the great Donald Sanchez and everything that they're doing in that camp to make a fighter that's definitely going to be a main event fighter, and that we can start plugging so many different cards all over from this. So many things are going to branch from this.
We know that you never do anything halfway. So some people might have thought when they saw the return, they saw your first event in years, that you may have been dipping a toe. How much was this? No, the return was, it was the kickoff, and there was a long-term plan immediately in place to get back going in kind of a schedule like you had before.
Look, I wish it was just me, but it's everybody together. It's Michael. Look what you're doing right now. This is a big part of it. You've been doing it. If I don't have all of it together, and I wish I could say it's me, it's really not. We have a big crew, and I know they want to say, "Hey, Pat, you're a great promoter." I'm not. I'm more of a host. I want to be a host. When you get to my fight, whether it's in my fight, if you're watching the Super Bowl at my house, I want to be a host. I want to make sure you're comfortable. Are you enjoying yourself? And you got to remember always it's a show, right? It's always a show, and you got to look at it from the fans' point of view. When you can look at it from there and see what they want to see when they walk in this place, adding things to it, and like Eduardo's going to come in with mariachis or whatever else you might see that day. It's all a show, and that's what it's all about. But I have plenty of help. We have a great team that's been with me for years. You've seen, all of them, and you've seen them all. They go to work, and everybody plays their part and their part well, and it becomes a success not as an individual but collectively.
Does it feel like it's really a quick turnaround? Did it feel like you just got done doing the return to start booking Cold War as you're only 2 months separated? I mean, it was years away, and now it's like you're running a marathon right away.
Right. It is. It didn't seem like we had much of a break, but the Cold War, for one thing, is such a successful event, and I'll tell you why. It's a home run because people think, well, hey, the summer shows are good, in which they are. But when you get into an event where you have that particular day, you got the AFC and NFC championship playing, right? And then you have that dead weekend between the Super Bowl. People that finish Christmas and the holidays and they've replenished their funds and they can't go hiking or fishing or whatever it is they do usually in the warmer months. They're ready to get out, they're antsy. And what better place to go than an event at the OK Casino and Holmes Boxing and the crew that we have. You guys involved a lot and everything that you guys are doing to promote the fight. I mean, it's the place to be.
Is the game different? Is promoting different from a few years ago, from before you kind of took your break to now coming back?
To some extent, yeah. I mean, I think that the fighters. I think sometimes when you're dealing with fighters and you're negotiating, I've noticed that part can be a little different. It could be a little tricky. There's a little bit more demands, and I start thinking of everything on the big scale where you're seeing like Turkey Al Sheen and you're seeing these guys that they brought in Dana White and they're trying to do some different things with boxing. Look, I want to tell you, boxers are a little bit too spoiled. I don't know if you're going to get them on that pay scale page, right? So dealing with them now, I'm seeing it's a little bit different, but it's different in their favor, which is fine because they deserve it. Everything else, I think, is pretty similar. Everything's pretty similar. It's just it's a system. It's a system putting VIPs in place and putting just your regular diehard fans in those seats and then trying to put a show together that's going to be exciting. Put some exciting fights, a variety, and just whatever you can add to the show. Like we'll have a celebrity guest. I don't want to mention who it is, but we're always trying to add something to it to kind of give some flavor.
Well, let's start talking about it because it's already January 31st. Tickets are on sale. We mentioned Jorge Villarreal, Eduardo Pino, both returning. Do we already have their opponents locked down, or is that still in process?
We're trying to lock their opponents down now. I'm hoping we can have those locked down at least by the weekend and get some contracts signed and back to us. But again, and you're talking about those two guys. We have Xavier Maestas, a 115 pounder, and you've been in this game, like I said before. 115 pounders sometimes are hard to come by, man. It's like finding a unicorn. But this division is starting to get hot here in New Mexico. You got Jorge Villarreal coming in. You got Eduardo at 115. You got the Xavier Mestas, a new kid that's coming on, making his debut at 115. And I noticed there's a few more of those guys within the four corners that are knocking at the door. So this division could be really fun, in the next few fights and down the road to see some exciting events. And without a doubt, I think you're gonna see these guys headline their own cards and do a lot of great things.
We got those guys just starting out. We got Matt and Abraham kind of excelling around that weight class. So yeah, in general, from the young veterans to this brand new prospect crop, we have a lot of talent in that same direction. On the poster, we see Martinez versus Arredondo.
Mm-hmm.
Leanna's right back, and
Mm-hmm.
she's taking on a scrappy opponent, for what I know, because I remember
Mm-hmm.
Arredondo from some MMA and other activities. So I think this one's a scrap there.
Absolutely. And for some reason, you have some tough fights in there, but they love those girl fights. They love those girl fights. Everybody told me they love the girl fights. We brought in this girl with this style, like you just said. She's very scrappy. Liana's gonna be right in front of you, and I mean, they're gonna make some dust, and that's part of the show. It's gonna be a great part of the show. So we're trying to implement, that Liana brings along with a great opponent to complement the rest of the card.
A huge step up in competition and a stiff task for Roland Nez taking on Daniel Gonzalez. If anything, Daniel will get in there. He will brawl. He is fearless to fight.
Oh, listen, I got a call a while back to put Roland on the card. I've been wanting to put Daniel on the card because he's from Santa Fe, my home city, the capital city, which I love with all my heart. And anytime there's a fighter like that, I'm going to do what I can to make sure that I can find room for them. And going back to Roland, I got a call a while back from Peter McKinn and his group. There's a group that actually signed Roland, and they're very excited about him. They've had a lot of great things to say about him, and I know he's a great fighter. So to put him on and then to bring in a fight like that at welterweight, and what I like about the welterweights is you're going to have a lot of speed and power. and you got two guys that's like, hey, Rolandez, that's like my career. This is gonna be my livelihood. I'm gonna be a world champion one day. This is what it's gonna be. And then you have Daniel Gonzalez, that's like, I'm too close to home. I'm not losing here. I'm not losing here. So I expect a hell of a fight. There's some great talents on the card. Well matched card. 5-2, 5-0. It can't be any better. Usually those guys will come and say, um, get us a guy. We're moving him, and this, and this, and Peter McKinn. I worked with him for years. He used to move Chavez Jr. He moved his career for years. We did a show. We did shows in Arizona, the Desert Diamond, and on different places. We did a show with Fernando Vargas and Camacho and a few other. We had some history together, and so when he's dipping his feet into it here, and he must think a lot of Roland. And because he's got a lot of experience in the game, moving fighters, he moved him with Top Rank for years, so he must think a lot about Roland, and he should. I know he's a great fighter, and I expect nothing less but some fireworks.
It's not like Pat isn't busy enough at the gym, not like he's not busy enough with these two back-to-back boxing events, but I've got birdies telling me you're helping contribute to bring MMA also up to OK Casino. You've helped kind of broker a relationship, and not to mention, it also sounds like you might be trying to expand and come down to Albuquerque for something big this year.
Absolutely. Look, I teamed up with Donald, and I guess his craziness and his really rough approach is contagious, and it's rubbing off. So we're gonna dip our feet into it. I mean, he's got the wheel, and I'm gonna be learning. And I'm always a student to this. Anything I'm doing, and even I know they talk about, blah blah blah, all these years of promoting. I'm always a student, so I'm always going to be learning and trying to figure out. And he's going to be a great teacher, and I'm excited to do it because you've covered that for years too, and I mean, you're going to really see some great fights, and maybe that night I won't be dressing security or any kind of detail. Maybe I could sit a little bit and just enjoy some good fighting that night.
We know one thing. You saw Donald injured in his last fight,
Uh,
still grit down on the mouthpiece to fight to the final bell. He's going to give an effort and everything he has to a project he's involved with.
Right. I mean, anything he does, he's got the foot pushed down all the way down on the gas. Everything, he's ready to go. Look, I was talking to him about working on some opponents, and he was touching down in Hawaii on Sunday, I believe. And I was like, hey, no, man, I'm sorry, I forgot. He's like, no, man, I'm working. So he's always ready to work and get things done. So and he's young, he's aggressive, he's got the energy. And to be honest with you, like you talked about me coming back, maybe that's what I needed. I needed the young help, even in the gym, like going to the gym's running. We have the fighters in there, and my son Pat Holmes Jr. has gone in there, and he's busy too. He's got his business running. It's thriving. He's doing well, but he stepped in to go and you know put his knowledge in, which is very important to these guys. And it's so everybody is there are so many people taking the weight off of me, and I'm older now, and maybe not as fast in the mind. I don't know, Micah. We'll find out. But I do have the help that picks up the slack.
I'm sure you're quick enough, and I'm sure you got a trick or two up the sleeve we still haven't seen.
Well, I hope so. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I might need it.
For someone that's been in the boxing industry for so long, as an observer, as a trainer, as a promoter, what are your thoughts on the retirement that we just heard issued from Terrence Crawford? One, do you think we'll see him again? And two, how do you kind of put together what he's achieved to this point?
I mean, it's just unbelievable. Um, it's crazy to watch it happen with his retirement. Right prior to that, I don't think he was getting the respect or some things that should have went his way. I called that fight against Canelo. Styles make fights, and this guy was going to be nowhere to be found. He's got dog in him. He has everything you need to be the greatest fighter probably ever. His name will always be mentioned there, and his retirement to me, I think between me and you, I think it's personal. I mean, it's going to be temporary. It's temporary, and I think he saw that they're going to say, hey, we need him back, And if he does come back, it's going to be on his terms. He's young. He's a great fighter. Look, I'm going to tell you something. These guys, that adrenaline rush is too strong. I've even seen it in my kids, and other fighters when they leave, it's hard to get the rush back. Look at Donald. Donald still wants. I mean, those guys are nuts. They're nuts. So they have that side in them that they want to get. They want to go in and they'll leave for a while. Oh, I'm done with it. And you'll hear the interviews, and they kind of feel that way. You know, it's like the guy that says, "Oh man, Monday I'm starting a diet," and guess what? That dude's eating pizza again, come Wednesday. And the same thing with these fighters, man. They can't stay away from this game. You're all of us, you include. I mean, it's an addiction. You're attracted to it, and you're attracted to what it brings, and the adrenaline, the rush, and the excitement. It's too much.
And now to ask you the hard question, last one before I let you get out of here.
Yeah.
We got a huge boxing match concerning the locals coming up. I think it's happening in Puerto Rico. Got Stephanie Hahn versus Holly Holm. And that's a dream match here for the Southwest area, a title fight, huge implications for what could happen. MVP Promotions. From your assessment, from what you've seen out of each lady, what do you think each one has to do to be successful?
I think both of them have to stick to their game plans. Holly has all the experience in the world, and I'll take you back from both sides, from a training standpoint and a promotional standpoint. Lenny Fresquez has done a wonderful job with her from the get-go. And she stuck to his plan and believed in him. She didn't jump ship. She wasn't like getting family members involved. She ran with it, and she paid her dues, and there's the results of it. And she's somebody that's very sound. I don't think she's got a ton of tricks boxing wise. She might. I don't take it. But what I'm saying is, for the most part, she's very sound. She doesn't make no mistakes. Remember the fighter guy in Top Gun, when he didn't make no mistakes, ice cold, right? Ice. And the same thing with her. I want to say she'd be like ice, because she's ice cold. She sticks to game plan. Everything she does is structured. Now, and with a great draw and everybody behind her, and then you have somebody like Han, where same thing. I mean, she's a great boxer. She's a great boxer. She's young, hungry, nothing to lose. I mean, man, she has and everything to gain, and she has everything that she needs to go in that ring. She's very talented. She's a great fighter, and they've done a great job with her. And in all respect to her, as far as promotion. So, what an exciting fight! What a great fight to have! What a great fight to promote, and even just to show up to it and be a fan and watch.
I said they were already on sale. I said I was done asking you questions. Actually, I do got one last one. How can people get tickets for the Cold War January 30th? OK Casino.
So I got some good news and I got some bad news. So the bad news is we're already into the back rows, right? Which really is not too far, because I think anywhere in that venue is a great seat. To be honest with you, you were there, you saw, so there's not a bad seat in the house. And right now, I would say the OK Casino, they have, from what I understand, with the tickets they had, they probably have like maybe 28 seats left at the venue. I just checked tonight. I just got off the phone call with the GM tonight, and they're about 20 seats away from what they have left. And we're probably about 80 seats on our end here through our distribution. So I don't want to call anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if by after the beginning, the first of the year, after New Year's, maybe the second and third going into Friday or Saturday, that we're announcing a sellout.
You want to be at Holmes Boxing, Sanchez Promotion, combined event, the Cold War on January 31st. You might as well call one of the fighters on the card if you know them. Ask them if they still got a few of their tickets left to sell.
That's probably the best way to do it. I wish the venue was bigger, but we're gonna stick in 1250 in a venue that sits maybe 1,000. You know how we do it, Micah. We've always done it that way, but we make room for everybody. I might get to the point where I start selling some laps if we have to.
Double it up, the buddy system.
Double it up, man. Double it up, the buddy system. No man left behind. We'll have to work on that. Next fight, we'll figure that out.
Pat Holmes, thank you for the time tonight.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it, Micah. Take care.